California, there's a town where a clean, move-in ready home by the lake lists for under $250,000. And the loudest thing you'll hear at night is a sprinkler ticking across a quiet lawn. But wait, didn't California run out of affordable places years ago? That's what the headlines say. Headlines miss things, big things. Here's the twist. While everyone crowds into the same pricey zip codes, there are towns nobody's talking about. Places with real main streets, steady safety stats, predictable property taxes, and yes, solid access to health care you can actually use. We found 10 of them. They're overlooked and easy to live in. One town has miles of paved trail, so your daily walk feels like a vacation. Another one has a calm lake and the tallest dam in the U.S., plus a local rule that shapes the whole vibe. By the end of this video, you'll be wondering, how did I not know about these sooner? Let's break it down. Remember, prices decrease as we go into the list, so make sure to watch till the end. At 10, Hanford in Kings County feels like a working small city where the basics are close and the pace is friendly. The typical home value is about $375,000. The violent crime rate is roughly 231 per 100,000, and the average effective property tax rate is around 0.78%. What that means for you is a budget that behaves in a week that runs on time. Errands fit a short loop. Groceries, pharmacies, hardware stores, and a coffee spot you'll start greeting by name. Neighborhoods are simple to understand. Houses are practical instead of flashy. Kitchens you will cook in, yards you will actually use, and living rooms with enough space for family to visit without a squeeze. The Civic Core has the classic features you want from a true town center. And parking is not a puzzle. Medical care is near. Tradespeople are used to real houses with real repairs, and seasonal events give the calendar some rhythm. If your goal is to settle into a dependable routine with costs you can plan for, Hanford is a grown-up choice that delivers exactly that. At 9, Calexico in Imperial County is steady and comfortable, with numbers that are hard to find anywhere else in the state. The typical home value sits near $367,000. The violent crime rate is about 59 per 100,000, and the county's average effective property tax rate is close to 0.87%. That trio adds up to calm days and a clean ledger. The weekly loop is short. Clinic, pharmacy, market, and cafe are easy drives. The cross-border food culture gives daily life a nice lift. Tacos, bakeries, and family places where the menu becomes a favorite. Fast. Streets are direct and simple, and you don't need to plan your whole day around traffic to get basic things done. If you want a low-stress home base and a budget that stays steady while you enjoy the sun, Calexico checks those boxes without making you trade comfort for cost. At 8, Lakeport in Lake County centers life on water and safety. The typical home value is roughly $364,000. The violent crime rate is near 30 per 100,000. And the county's average effective property tax rate is about 0.70%. Clear Lake, the largest natural freshwater lake fully inside California, gives this town its shape and its calm. Morning walks by the shoreline feel like a gift you can open every day. Small marinas and lakeside paths fold right into normal routines. Neighborhoods feel like neighborhoods. Porches, friendly waves, and streets where a quick hello is normal. Essentials are close, so errands do not steal your afternoon. If water helps you relax, Lakeport lets that be part of your daily plan instead of an occasional trip. The numbers stay sensible while the scenery stays front and center. At 7, 29 Palms in San Bernardino County shows the desert at its best. Bright days, wide horizons, and quiet evenings under a sky full of stars. The typical home value is about $354,000. The violent crime rate is around 50 per 100,000, and property taxes follow the state's steady pattern under Proposition 13. A nearby military base supports local services and keeps everyday life stable. There's also a creative streak, murals, small galleries, and community events that add color without noise. It's easy to set good habits here. Walk early, enjoy the evening light, and keep your budget relaxed enough for small upgrades or road trips. If clear costs and clear skies sound like your kind of plan, this town makes it real. At 6, Red Bluff in Hammock County leans into value, space, and practical living. The typical home value sits in the low $330,000. The violent crime rate is about 643 per 100,000, and the average effective property tax rate is a light 0.62%. You get honest yards big enough for projects you've put off, a garage that can finally hold a small workshop, and a cost profile that frees up money for travel or family visits. The trade-off is right there in the crime number, so you bring the same good sense you would anywhere. Lights at entries, neighborly eyes on the block, and simple routines. In return, you get river sunsets, room to breathe, and errands that fit a short loop. If you want more home for your money and a lighter tax bite, and you're comfortable being intentional about safety, Red Bluff gives you that lane. At 5, Paradise in Butte County is a careful second chapter done right. Many homes are newer, services are back in a steady way, and the people who live here largely chose it with intention. The typical home value is about $330,000. Recent reporting puts the 2023 crime index below the U.S. average, and property taxes follow Prop 13's steady rules once you own. The foothill setting adds pine air, shade, and a calm that turns short walks into a daily reset. In hill country, it pays to be smart about insurance and property care, clear brush, mind gutters, and keep a tidy perimeter, simple steps that add peace of mind. When you handle those basics, you get a home base that is friendly, organized, and set up for regular routines. Groceries and clinics are nearby, parking is easy, and streets feel lived in, not staged. If you like the idea of a town that has taken care to rebuild with common sense, Paradise offers exactly that. At 4, Porterville into Luray County balances price, location, and everyday ease. The typical home value is near $300,000 to $27,000. The violent crime rate is about 247 per 100,000, and the county's average effective property tax rate is close to 0.79%. The town sits near the Sierra foothills, with the Sequoia Gateway close enough to make weekend nature trips simple. Daily living is practical. Healthcare, markets, and services are nearby, streets are clear, and houses are built for real life. Hosting is easy because driveways fit cars and living rooms fit people. If you garden, fruit trees do well, and farmers markets give the year a good rhythm. Porterville keeps the numbers steady while opening the door to fresh air weekends whenever you want them. At 3, our Lakeside pick in Northern California stays unnamed on purpose so you meet it first by feel. Typical home values sit in the low $300,000. The violent crime rate is about 495 per 100,000, and property taxes follow a standard county profile under Proposition 13. Now, picture the daily scene. Long shoreline walks at dawn, coves made for kayaks, and a skyline marked by the tallest dam in the United States. It is a dramatic backdrop for ordinary life. Groceries, clinics, and essentials are near enough that errands do not take your best hours, as everywhere simple safety routines help. Lit entries, neighborly awareness, and residents who bring those habits enjoy a lifestyle where the best part of the day is often how the day begins. Quiet water and big sky, 5 minutes from the front door. If you want a lake-first routine at a fair price, this spot makes the case. At 2, Ridgecrest in Kern County makes ownership straightforward again. The typical home value sits in the mid-$200,000. The violent crime rate is about 305 per 100,000, and the average effective property tax rate is around 0.96%. Services are steady thanks to the nearby Navy installation, and the high desert setting brings clarity every day. Bright sun, big views, and nights full of stars. Summers reward basic best practices like efficient AC, shade, and earlier errands. Locals treat those as normal, and they work. The payoff is simple: clear costs, clear skies, and real margin in your monthly plan for travel, projects, or savings. If you want to own without strain and live with wide horizons, Ridgecrest delivers both. At 1, Susanville in Lassen County changes the plan the moment you look at the number. The typical home value is under $250,000. The violent crime rate is about 343 per 100,000, and the average effective property tax rate sits near 0.71%. That price point is a game changer. It turns ownership from a stretch into a normal step, keeps capital free for what matters next, and sets a monthly outlook that feels light and dependable. The outdoor setup is excellent. The Biz Johnson Trail, a rails to trails corridor, offers miles of forest riding and walking, so daily movement is easy to build into your week. Houses give you honest space without waste, and the basics are in town. For niche specialists, a periodic regional trip is simple to plan. Many retirees do that already. You get 4 seasons, mountain air, and mornings that make a cup of coffee taste a little better. If your goal is to buy wisely and live well, Susanville lets you start that on day 1 and keep it going year after year. A few practical notes help any of these choices work even better. On climate and comfort, inland valleys and desert towns reward smart home choices, efficient HVAC, ceiling fans, and shade from trees or awnings. Plan summer errands earlier in the day and close blinds during peak heat. These simple habits keep homes comfortable and bills predictable. In cooler months, sunrooms and south-facing windows add passive warmth that makes living areas feel good without touching the thermostat. On foothill basics, places like Paradise and other hill country spots respond well to tidy yards and sensible materials. Clearing brush, trimming low branches, cleaning roofs and gutters, and using gravel or decomposed granite instead of bark near the house are small upgrades that deliver peace of mind. Insurance shopping is worth doing before you buy. Locking a policy early removes guesswork from your budget. On healthcare, every town on this list has baseline care nearby. For specialist visits, most residents already batch appointments into one regional trip every few weeks or months. It's efficient. You book the consult, schedule labs, add a pharmacy pickup, and make a lunch stop before driving home. Many folks pair those trips with larger shopping runs, which saves both time and fuel. On connectivity, if remote work or video calls matter to you, check the specific address for service tiers. Many blocks in these towns now have reliable cable or fiber options. Where speeds vary, a 5G hotspot can be a strong backup for calls and streaming. On budgets and taxes, Proposition 13 is the quiet helper in California planning. Once you buy, annual increases are controlled, so your housing costs stay predictable. The county averages on this list range roughly from 0.62% up to 0.96%. That spread sounds small, but it adds up over years, which is why we include it in the ranking as a third-level tiebreaker. On transportation and errands, a good pattern is to keep your weekly loop tight. Most of these towns let you do that already. Pharmacy, market, clinic, and a couple of favorite shops within a few easy turns. If you drive less, you spend less, and you have more time for the parts of the day you actually want. For visitors and family, pick a simple arrival day plan. A park with shade, a diner with easy parking, and a short walk with a view. Make it a ritual, and you'll look forward to it every time. On homes and layouts, the best value is often in practical floor plans. Single-story or main floor bedroom, a kitchen that opens to living space, and a yard you can maintain in an hour, not a weekend. Look for insulation, window quality, and shade trees. These are small cost savers that compound comfort. If you like matching mood to map, here is a fast way to sort your shortlist without turning it into a spreadsheet. If the cleanest purchase math is your top priority, Susanville leads with a typical home value under $250,000 and a tax profile around 0.71%, which frees your budget for travel, hobbies, or a small workshop. If you want ownership plus real breathing room month to month, Ridgecrest follows with mid-$200,000 pricing and a moderate safety number around $305 per 100,000. If water resets your mind and safety is a close second, Lakeport combines a typical value near $364,000 with a standout violent crime rate near 30 per 100,000 and gentle taxes around 0.70%. If you want landmark views and a lake-first routine at a fair price, our unnamed Lakeside pick in the low $300,000 gives you long water, quiet coves, and a dramatic skyline. If you prefer careful rebuild calm and pine air, Paradise's approximately $330,000 typical value and below average crime index deliver a steady base. For foothill balance and simple living, Porterville's approximately $327,000 typical value, approximately 247 per 100,000 violent crime rate, and approximately 0.79% tax rate make day-to-day life easy. If space and a lighter tax bite call to you and you're comfortable with smart safety habits, Red Bluff's low $330,000 pricing and approximately 0.62% tax rate open that door. In Southern California, if desert light and low crime are your thing, 29. Plams pairs a approximately $354,000 typical value with approximately 50 per 100,000 violent crime and steady taxes. If you want quiet order and a reliable ledger with better than expected safety, Calexico's approximately $367,000 typical value, approximately 59 per 100,000 violent crime, and approximately 0.87% tax rate are hard to beat. And if you want a small city feel with useful streets and predictable payments, Hanford's approximately $375,000 typical value, approximately 231 per 100,000 violent crime, and approximately 0.78% tax rate makes sense. The big idea in all of this is simple. California is still very livable when you pick with a clear plan. Start with price you can carry without stress. Favor places where the safety numbers match the calm you want to feel. Add the stability of steady taxes so the plan you make today also works next year. Do that, and the state looks different. More possible, more welcoming, and more yours. Maybe you want water and sunrise walks. Maybe you want desert light and quiet nights. Maybe you want river space and a yard that finally fits your projects. Maybe you want pine air and foothill paths. Or maybe you just want a small city that runs on time. This list gives you real choices for each of those goals. So here is your next move. Pick 3 towns from this countdown that sound like you. Circle the one that matches your top filter, lowest price, lowest crime, or lowest taxes, and add one that you simply want to wake up in. Run a quick monthly budget using the numbers we've shared. Typical home value, violent crime rate as a comfort check, and county tax average. Then go see them in person. Walk the main street, sit by the water, or look out at the hills. Drive your errand loop at the time of day you expect to do it. If it feels easy